All right, let's get right into it. We're talking about a massive business war happening right now between two of China's absolute tech titans. And this isn't just about some new drone or camera. This is about total market domination, some incredibly clever strategy, and believe it or not, the power of a single city.
And look, that is not an exaggeration. In the heart of China's tech hub, a battle is unfolding that could literally reshape the entire consumer electronics world. It's a classic story, really. Two kings who looked at their own kingdoms and decided, you know what? It's just not big enough.
So let's meet our fighters. In one corner, you've got DJI, the undisputed heavyweight champion of the drone world. I mean, they are the drone market. And in the other corner, Insta360, an absolute giant that dominates the panoramic camera space. Both are number one, both are global leaders, and both are about to go right for the jugular.
So how did this whole thing kick off? Well, this wasn't some slow burn, a rivalry that built up over years. Nope. This was a sudden, direct, and incredibly aggressive invasion of each other's home turf.
The speed here is just insane. Check this out. On July 23rd, Insta360 throws the first punch, saying, "Hey, we're making drones now." The very next day, not a week, not a month, the next day, DJI fires right back, announcing they're getting into 360 cameras. Just 1 week after that, DJI actually launches a product. And then, right on their heels, Insta360 shows off its new drone. This whole thing happened in real time at lightning speed.
And we have to be really clear about this. This wasn't just expanding the product line. The source material described it perfectly. This was like each company plunging a sharp blade directly into the other's heart. A full frontal assault on the very core of what makes them who they are.
And that's the billion-dollar question, right? Why on earth would two companies that have already won the game, that are sitting on top of their respective mountains, risk it all to start a brand new, brutal war? Well, the answer comes down to a fundamental problem that every market leader eventually runs into.
It's called the ceiling of growth. See, when you've already conquered your world, there's really nowhere left to go. Your biggest challenge isn't some up-and-coming competitor. It's the simple fact that you can't get much bigger inside your own little box.
Just look at DJI. They control over 70% of the entire global drone market. They are the undisputed rulers of the sky. But that's the problem, isn't it? When you already own that much of the pie, finding another big slice is pretty much impossible.
And what's wild is, it's the exact same story over at Insta360. They have an incredible 81% of the panoramic camera market. They're kind of a hidden champion in that sense. But just like DJI, they've slammed right into that growth ceiling.
So here's what it all boils down to. For their investors, for their future, for their own ambition, both of these companies desperately need a new story to tell. They need new markets to conquer, new battlefields to fight on. And what's the most logical new battlefield? Well, it's each other's kingdom.
So, Insta360 fired that first shot. But they were smart. They didn't just go out and build a cheap knockoff of a DJI drone. Oh no, they came with a much cleverer, much deadlier plan. It was a textbook case of asymmetric warfare.
So what is asymmetric warfare? It's actually pretty simple. You don't charge straight at the castle's strongest walls. That's a suicide mission. Instead, you find the cracks in the foundation, the unguarded back door, the vulnerabilities the enemy isn't paying attention to, and you strike there. And DJI, for all its power, had some pretty big cracks.
And Insta360 identified them perfectly. DJI's empire had three key weak points. First, their drones have pretty limited fixed camera angles. Second, there's a really high skill barrier. They're not exactly easy for a beginner to just pick up and fly. And third, the actual experience of flying, it's just not that immersive. So, Insta360 designed its attack to hit all three of those weaknesses at the exact same time.
Strike one, the panoramic lens. This is Insta360's home turf. By slapping a 360-degree camera on a drone, they completely solve the fixed angle problem. It means you can just fly around, capture literally everything, and then decide later in editing what shot you want. For creators, that is a huge game changer.
Next up, they went after that high-skill barrier. Insta360's answer? A super intuitive motion sensing controller. Forget all those complicated joysticks. You just point where you want the drone to go, and it goes. This move slashes the learning curve and turns a niche professional tool into something anyone can use.
And the final blow is all about the experience. By adding VR flight goggles, they completely change the game. You're no longer just a pilot on the ground looking at a tiny screen. No, you become a bird soaring through the sky. It creates this whole new level of immersion and just pure fun that DJI's products don't even come close to.
And that's the absolute genius of their strategy. See, Insta360 didn't try to out DJI. They didn't build a drone that was slightly faster or had a slightly better battery. They just redefined what a drone experience could even be, creating a whole new battleground where DJI's old strengths were suddenly irrelevant. But here's the twist. The most fascinating part of this whole story isn't the rivalry or even the brilliant strategy. It's something much, much bigger, something that's been hiding in plain sight this whole time. Because the real winner, no matter who comes out on top in this specific fight, is the city where it's all happening, Shenzhen. Both of these global giants draw their lifeblood from the exact same source.
You have to understand, everything is incredibly connected there. Shenzhen is the world's hardware Silicon Valley. The camera suppliers that both these rivals use, they're in Shenzhen. The battery suppliers, yep, also Shenzhen. The factories, the chip makers, the people who actually assemble the products. It's all packed into one hyper-efficient ecosystem.
This ecosystem is the secret ingredient to their incredible speed. The ability to go from a simple idea on a napkin to a working prototype to a mass-produced product ready to ship globally, it's just unparalleled. That entire supply chain exists within just a few square miles.
And the scale of this, it's just staggering. We're talking about a 2.7 trillion RMB electronics industry. It's an environment that doesn't just support companies like DJI and Insta360, it actively forges them, pressure cooking them into world-class competitors.
So while these two titans are battling it out for control of the sky, the real power is the ground they're both standing on. An ecosystem so powerful, so complete, that it can raise two global beasts to fight on the world stage. And as the source suggests, maybe that ecosystem itself is China's ultimate trump card in the global tech race.